sexy section parade. Ladies and gentlemen, now please welcome the founder of the group and the mother of the group, Randy and Nancy Brooks. For tonight's starting lineup, at 5'7" from Belmont University, the group, and at 5'2" from Duke University, the Pride. Put your hands together for New York. Blue Red, Jason and Sruthi. Make some noise, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise. Let's get this marriage started. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of energy. We're gonna rock tonight.
종일 함께면 질릴 텐데 나 돌아서도 온통 너인 건 아무래도 사랑인가 봐.
പച്ചക്കിളിക്കൊരു കൂട് പച്ചക്കരിമ്പഴയുള്ള കൂട് ആ പച്ചക്കിളിക്കൊരു കൂട് പച്ചക്കരിമ്പഴയുള്ള കൂട് കണ്ണാളൻ കെട്ടുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ ഓ അത് നിന്നെ പൂട്ടാനാണല്ലോ തുടക്കം മാംഗല്യം തന്തുനാനേന പിന്നെ ജീവിതം തുന്തനാനേന തുടക്കം മാംഗല്യം തന്തുനാനേന പിന്നെ ജീവിതം തുന്തനാനേന തുടക്കം മാംഗല്യം തന്തുനാനേന പിന്നെ ജീവിതം തുന്തനാനേന
ਤੂੰ ਹੋ ਗਈ 1 2 2 ਉਹ ਕੁੜੀਏ what to do ਉਹ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਦੀ ਪਤੰਗਾਂ ਵਰਗੀ ਤੂੰ ਐਵੇਂ ਉੱਡਦੀ ਉਹ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਦੀ ਹਿੱਲਾਂ ਤੇ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਟੁਕ ਟੁਕ ਤੂੰ ਕਰਦੀ ਮੇਕਅਪ ਤੂੰ ਕਰਦੀ ਆ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਗਿਟ ਪਿਟ ਤੂੰ ਕਰਦੀ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕੁਈਨ ਸਾਡੀ ਵਿਕਟੋਰੀਆ ਤੂੰ ਕੈਂਟੀ ਬਿਗ ਬੈਨ ਦੀ ਪੂਰਾ ਲੰਡਨ ਠੁਮਕਦਾ ਉਹ ਜਦੋਂ ਨੱਚੇ ਪੈਣ
मैडम जी देसी फैशन में लैती बोली में घोली मीठी इलायची हिले ऊंची फॉरन रिटर्न नखरा बातें बड़ी है हाय फाय बिगला पिया पे एटीट्यूड वखरा झूमे ऐसे ना रोकी जाए ओ जदों नचे बेबी सज धज लगदी है ठाई जदों नचे बेबी सज धज लगदी है ठाई जदों नचे बेबी सज धज लगदी है ठाई जदों नचे बेबी सज धज लगदी है ठाई
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our special dancers.
Good evening, everyone. For those who don't know us, we are the proud parents of the bride, Sruthi. Thank you all. Thank you all so much for joining us to celebrate Shruthi's and Jason's special day. It's truly wonderful to see so many familiar faces here to share this joy with us, and we are so grateful to you all for this. We have friends and family who have traveled near and far to be with us. We have Jason's family and friends who have come here from Hawaii, Ohio, Tennessee, Illinois, Florida, New York, and Virginia. We have Shruthi's and our friends and family who have come here from India, my brother Mohan and Reena, Tojo's brothers Tisan and Tomin, and sisters Tiji and Tess from India and New Zealand, and Tisan's family, Mimi, Nidhi, and Divya, and Tomin's daughter, Kavya from Seattle, my uncle George Chayan from Augusta, my niece Pinky from Mexico, and our family and friends from London, Canada, Pennsylvania, California, Tennessee, Chicago, New York, Boston, Texas, Rhode Island, Georgia, Illinois, Florida, New York, Connecticut, Maryland, and from our beautiful state of Virginia. Special thanks to Father Higgins and Stephanie for being with us and being part of the ceremony. Shruthi, my beautiful daughter, we are so proud of you, of who you are and what you have become. You will always be my little girl, my Upa. Jason, welcome to the family, son. You make Shruthi so happy. And as a mother, that's all what I want. I want to see my daughter Shruthi happy. Thank you. In Indian culture, marriage is not just the union of two individuals, but it is also a union of two families. We welcome Randy, Nancy, Tracy, JD, Teddy, Taylor, and Jason's extended family to our family. I'm keeping my speech short because Tojo has a long speech. And I want to express my thanks and gratitude to you all once again. Special thanks to all of our friends and family for joining me in the dance performance. Thank you for your time, commitment, dedication, and for the countless hours of practice. This meant a lot to us, and our heartfelt gratitude to you all. Love you all. I'll turn it over to Tojo.
Okay. Thank you. That's someone speaking from her heart. Well, good evening, everyone. When I think about the father, daughter, and the speech by the father, what comes to my mind is sort of explaining the nuances and complexities of the relationship between the father and the daughter. And then give some tips to Jason, my son-in-law, about what lies ahead. All right. What comes to mind about Shruthi, the first of all, is how fiercely independent she is. She wants to be in control of what matters to her life. So when she was in middle school, I used to drive her around. One day she became very upset. She said, you don't check with my schedule, and you're supposed to check with my schedule before you make up appointments. So believe it or not, she made me sign a contract as a 10-year-old girl. And I have brought that contract here with me. I'm going to read it with. It says, remember, she was only 10 years old. It says, I, Tojo Tachinkeri, hereby acknowledge that I am a lazy father and a control freak. Instead of going at a time good for both my daughter and I always go at a time good for me. I hereby acknowledge that I am a selfish dad and a control freak. Signed, Tojo Tachinkeri. Countersigned, Sruthi Tachinkeri. This really happened. 5 years later, she made me renew it. And it simply said, renewed Tojo Tachinkeri 2002. Since then, I have been hiding this document because I was afraid that if Sruthi ever finds out, she will make me renew again. But today, I brought it out because I'm going to pass it on to Jason. She is going to make you renew it or sign a bigger one. The second thing that comes to my mind is about judgment. Sruthi has this high quality about standards. So as many of you know, in middle school, they have this event called Back to School, when parents visit the children without them and meet with the teachers and so on. But they are asked to leave a small assignment for their parents, which they will complete, and then the children will grade it the next day, and then they will bring it home the following day. So Sruthi left me a simple assignment. It was just a drawing. I did my best to draw it, and I thought I did well. Next day, Sruthi brings that assignment back to me with her grades on it. Can you guess what grade I must have received? A F minus. F minus. I thought F is all what you can do. You fail. What is F minus? I could never understand that. I thought there's nothing worse than that. Now, if you see me anxious, some people say, Tojo, you look very anxious. It's because I'm worried that I will get another F minus. So, Jason, don't get an F minus. Now, we have a WhatsApp group. It's called Homer. So you may be wondering, why is it called Homer? Well, Sruthi calls me a Homer because I do all kind of Homer Simpson stuff. You know the Simpsons show? So when she called me a Homer, I was a little upset. I know I am bald, I have a tummy, I drink a lot of beer, I love donuts. All those things were good, but I thought I was smarter than Homer. But she started pointing out things to me that I've done like a Homer, such as buying a gift that I liked, that I know she won't like, so that she will give it back to me. I have done that, Sruthi pointed that out, and the way I park and so on. So she doesn't like a dad who writes books that no one reads. She likes a dad who is funny, crazy, and all that. And that continues even with the wedding preparation. So I can give you some examples of Homer. The scheming. Sruthi tells me, Dad, you are always scheming like Homer. So, some of you may know what Homer Simpson and what kind of scheming he does. So one example Sruthi pointed out. When she applied for PhD program, she got accepted pretty much everywhere, and she narrowed her choice to Stanford and Wharton. And then I started scheming. That was the time I was working on leadership in Silicon Valley. So I thought that if Sruthi goes to Stanford, I can visit her in her apartment and don't have to pay for hotels in San Francisco because that's where I was doing my research. So I thought it would be nice if she goes there. She did, and the scheming did not quite work out. After a few days, she said, "Dad, don't you have other work to do? don't you have to teach at George Mason?" That's what happened. And the last one with the Homer is that the bridal party. This just happened recently, another Homer example. The bridal party when, the bridesmaids and others come in. But as soon as I heard the word bridal party, something else came to my mind. I said, "You're going to have another party? And do I have to pay for that?" That is what the Homer does. Now, let's talk about Lisa Simpson. As you know, Lisa is a smart girl. While she sees me as Homer, I see her as Lisa, who is compassionate, intelligent, smart, and all those things. Now, I remember an example of her compassion. When she was in high school, she saw a plane going down, and later on she realized it was in that plane was the father of a classmate. This was 9/11, September 11, 2001. So there was a fundraising by Red Cross, and Sruthi brought all her savings to them, in their life savings, and the Red Cross person asked, "Are you sure you want to give all this away?" She did not flinch. And she has been like that rest of her life, doing things for others. Another good quality in Sruthi is decisive, something that I am not. She's very decisive. One day she sent me to CVS to buy cough medicine for cold. So I go in, I call her, "Sruthi, do you want extra strength or maximum strength?" She said, "Dad, whatever. Do you want drowsy or non-drowsy?" She was getting annoyed. Then finally I said, "Do you want the long-lasting one or the quick-acting one?" Then she said, "Dad, if you talk too long, I may not last very much." Anyway, moving on, Sruthi is very humble, very humble. She doesn't brag about anything. She's very good with her students in MBA program and listens to them. With all those qualities, you might wonder, what was Sruthi looking for in a partner? A lot of men have tried to win her heart, all failed, except you, Jason. So this fuels a curiosity. What was she looking for in a partner? Now, comedian Brian Scott has talked about a bit where he asked about what do women want in a man. I'm sure many of you are asking the same question now. And interestingly, Sruthi's response wasn't that different. In fact, I can tell you verbatim what she told me. So I asked Sruthi, "What are you looking for in a partner?" And this is what she said. This is what she said. She said, "Dad, I want someone who is steady, consistent, reliable, at the same time funny, unpredictable, and spontaneous." How can you be both? Steady, consistent, reliable, but funny, unpredictable, and spontaneous. Then she says, someone who is decisive, strong, firm, but also flexible, open-minded, and will admit that I am always right. What else? Someone who is in control, but not controlling. Someone who is strong, but sensitive. Someone who is tough, but tender. Confident, but humble. Caring, but not needy. Protective, but not possessive. Well, a miracle happened. She found Jason. Hey. So, Jason, over the last 2 years, we have got to know you, and we are so proud and delighted that Sruthi has found you. Among the many attributes that are unique about you, Jason, the one that I must mention is how uniquely gifted you are as a musician, and you're 100% passionate about everything you do. Many people I know do a job only because they need a job. But in your case, you wake up every day wanting to do work in music with 100% passion in it. It's very hard to find people who love what they do as much as you do. I have also admired the ways in which the two of you work together. We have also got to know Randy, Nancy, his parents, and Tracy, his sister, JD, his brother-in-law, and the two baby nephews. So we welcome all of you, not you, Jason, but the rest of the family. So Sruthi, your mom and dad are very proud of you. We love you unconditionally as long as you promise to take care of us when we are old. All right. So we welcome not just Jason, everyone of the family. So folks, everyone, please raise your glasses and join Tessie and I in a toast for Sruthi. Sruthi and Jason, may you have a lifetime of love, health, happiness, and adventure together. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the parents of the bride.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tracy, and Jason is my big brother. First, let me say this was just a beautiful day. Thank you so much to Tessie and Tojo, wherever you are, for putting together not only today's wonderful event, but the events of the previous 2 days that we've gotten to be involved in. And thank you also for being so welcoming to the Brooks side of the family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Growing up, being Jason's sister wasn't always the easiest. Not because he picked on me or anything, but because he was so talented. In case you don't know, Jason is one of the most talented musicians, like, ever. And I'm not just saying that because I'm his sister. He is so talented, he can play guitar, piano, banjo, mandolin, just anything, just to name a few instruments. As a teenager, he was asked to play at our church's worship team, which was pretty much unheard of at that time because he was a teenager playing for big church, as we called it back then. It was unheard of to ask someone kind of so young to take on this responsibility. Every Sunday, he would wake up super early and play all 3 church services. I would say it's probably the only time in his life that he ever woke up early. Yeah. So growing up at church, anytime I introduced myself, hi, I'm Tracy, the response was always, oh, you're Jason's sister. And it got old. That's not to say that Jason and I, we never had any issues or any beef. He just maybe didn't know how hard it was to walk behind such gifted footsteps. He was a really great brother. We didn't really fight. He would drive me places without too much of a fuss. I used to steal his clothes, which he tolerated because I thought that guys' cargo pants were awesome because they had pockets to carry things. And then turnabout became fair play because he would start to steal my clothes. And let me tell you, it's really humbling when your older brother can wear a smaller size of girls' jeans than you do. So there's that. He went off to college to Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee. And I got to see him excel in music there. I even debated going to Belmont as well, following in his footsteps again, because who wouldn't want their little sister tagging along to college with them? But I decided not to, and it, probably for the best. But I did get to visit him a lot, and I remember a couple times going that we went because he was chosen to play in something called the Best of the Best showcase at Belmont University, which is already a very exclusive college. Sometimes they only will take 12 or 16 people per class in a discipline, and then through that, they would put on this once-a-year show called the Best of the Best, and Jason was chosen not only once, but twice to perform in this incredibly exclusive concert. And it was really amazing to get to see him just in his element performing like he was a true rock star in college. He's incredibly talented as a musician, as a human being. I would still like to point out at one of those Best of the Best showcases, he stole one of my scarves and wore it. So the fashion, we're still working on that. What's great about Jason is not only he's talented, but he is hardworking. He, puts in hours of work on his craft to make sure that he is being the best that he can be. He's had some really rough gigs, like driving 12, 13 hours in a van with, 3 or 4 other men down to Florida to play a gig and then turning right around and coming right back up. Probably not super fun. He's also had some really great ones, like getting to perform on Jimmy Fallon, Good Morning America, and of course, his run on the Nashville TV show as Hayden Panettiere's guitar player. It's really cool to get to, be watching TV and see your brother on the screen. But no matter what he's doing, whether it's, a studio tracking session in his, in your home now, or, posting a selfie of him with Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, Jason just puts the time in, does the work, stays humble, and it's, all the same to him, and, finishes his day, whether it's filming or, playing, goes and grabs some hot chicken, shout out to 400 Degrees. And then he chills back at home, now, thankfully, with Sruthi, before he gets up and just does it again. As you can imagine, this kind of lifestyle might make it hard to have a relationship. So a couple years ago, when he told us that he was starting to see another young lady, that I was like, oh, this is exciting. We got to meet Sruthi because her family obviously lives here in Virginia, where we are also based. So I thought it was very fun that they met in Nashville, but however, both really have home ties here in Virginia, which is pretty awesome. I was immediately impressed with how well educated Sruthi was. She was very well spoken, incredibly smart. She also was very nerdy. I think one of the first times we met, you were wearing like an R2-D2 dress, like a print dress, like Star Wars. Okie dokie, we can work with this. I love her sense of humor. She's incredibly down to earth, even though she absolutely can talk circles around me about economics because, that's what you do, and it's amazing. She's absolutely the type of person that I would choose as a friend and a sister, and I'm not sure she feels the same way, but she's stuck with me now, so there you go. Jason and Sruthi, I'm so excited for you two to begin your lives together. Marriage is the best. Remember that you are each other's best friend and cheerleader. Root for each other. When one of you succeeds, both of you succeeds. I love you guys, and I can't wait to build more memories with you both as the years go by. So please raise a glass with me. Cheers to the happy couple, but wait. Let me just redo my introduction one more time. Hi, my name is Tracy, and for those of you who don't know, I'm Jason's younger sister, so thank you.
Cheers, and give it up for Tracy Medlock, the groom's sister.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tom, and I am Shruthi's former colleague. The way I met Sruthi was quite unconventional. It was 2020. It was in the depth of the pandemic, and I moved from the US to London. At that time, like many people, I didn't know anyone in London, and I was feeling extremely isolated. By chance, a colleague told me that Sruthi was the only one were still living close to the office because everybody else has deserted London, right? Everybody else has escaped to the suburbs, and by chance, we got to know each other. From there, perhaps because we were the only two people who were still in the neighborhood, we got to become very close friends. So much so today, she has appointed me as a bridesmaid. And that was 5 years ago. And in that past 5 years, I've gotten to know Sruthi very well. And today, to celebrate this special occasion, I want to share 3, in my opinion, quintessential Sruthi qualities with you. The first thing that comes to my mind when I think about Sruthi is her passion. From Star Wars to Superman to Japanese video game Persona that you probably don't know about, to her beloved Mass Effect, I got that right, to, of course, Duke basketball, and her absolute favorite, the Washington Wizards. The way, I gotta tell you, the way her eyes lights up when she talked about those things is unmistakable, right? And she will never stop defending and standing up for those things. No matter how many times I make fun of the Washington Wizards, she always wears her Wizards hoodie proudly. Now, I am not an expert in marriage, but I think the tenacity to fight for what you love might be important. The second thing that comes to my mind is Sruthi's absolutely unwavering commitment to family, in particular, her parents. She always has a large smile whenever she talks about Tojo's latest schemes and Tessie's latest dancing competition. Whereas Tojo, for what it's worth, I'm almost always on your side. I'm also a schemer. Almost always, because there are some ones that Sruthi never lets go a chance to share how proud she is of what her parents have achieved, and thankful for the tremendous sacrifice that you guys have made for her and the family. In her effort to move back to the US to be closer to her parents, I also got to witness firsthand the sacrifices Sruthi made. All those 12-hour, 15-hour work days sometimes, the sleepless nights, the anxious waiting, the angst. Tojo and Tessie, I hope you guys know that you've raised a brilliant person who loves you very, very, very much. And on this special day, I cannot be happier for you guys. Last but not least, the third thing about Sruthi is her intolerance of men. It's true. She has a very sharp, critical eye, critical perspective on this half of the species. And she's certainly not afraid to call us out on our bullshit when that happens. So I was pleasantly surprised when she told me about Jason. Someone, in her own words, does not annoy her too much. Now, that's a high bar to clear. And as I got to know Jason more, I realized they're perfect for each other. Jason's gentle manner make a natural complement to Sruthi's, let's say, fiery spirit. I cannot wait to see their life together because it's going to be full of fun adventures and clever benders. So, these are the three things I hope to leave you with: passion, family, and keeping men in check. In this spirit, I invite everyone to raise a glass and join me in congratulating Sruthi and Jason and wishing them a lifetime full of happiness.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Tom.
All right. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for coming. It really means the world to all of us. I'm just going to let Sruthi do most of the talking today since I've learned that's always a good idea. I'd like to thank my extended family and friends for traveling long distances to be here tonight and celebrate with us. It really means so much to me for you guys to be here. It's been a long time since I've seen some of you, so thank you for being here. I'd like to thank my family, and particularly my parents, Randy and Nancy, for raising me, for being there. Yeah. For being there during the ups and downs, when things went wrong and when things went right, they were always there, and still are always there. And I'd like to say, looking around here tonight, that I think things have turned out all right. So thank you, and I love you. I'd like to thank the Thatch and Carries, particularly Tojo and Tessie, for welcoming me into your home, for introducing me to your amazing family, and always treating me with kindness, even from the very beginning. I'd also like to thank you both for raising an amazing, resilient, hardworking daughter in Sruthi. I see the best of both of you in her every single day, so thank you. To my sister Tracy, amazing toast, by the way. Thank you for always looking out for me and for showing me what it really means to be cool. That's why I'm stealing the clothes all the time. And generally being just the rock star that I've always wanted to be. Thank you to your family, JD, Teddy, and Taylor, for showing me over and over again what a happy family truly can be, and for Teddy for showing me his awesome dance moves on the dance floor. And finally, thank you, Sruthi. Thank you for always looking out for me and for picking me up when I get knocked down. For knowing what I need even before I need it. You're really good at that. And I'm so lucky to have you in my life. I love you. And now I'll hand it over to the real talker, Sruthi.
All right, guys, I promise this won't be too long. I didn't inherit that from my father, as it turns out. Thank you all for coming from so far and wide, as my mom named every country and state involved there. We really thought, given the travel involved, that we were going to get a lot more declines. I'm so excited to see that so many people RSVP'd yes and showed up here today, especially because we are not paying for your plates, so it's just like a win-win for us there. I do want to say a quick thank you to the extended families who came in, especially the aunts and uncles and cousins that have done so much work behind the scenes today, not just with dance practice, but like shuttling people to and from. And Nidhi Thatch and Carey gets a special shout out as the MVP. She was adjusting my dress. She was helping make sure everything was great in the photo, so thank you so much for that. To the Brooks family, thank you, Randall and Nancy, for raising such a kind, warm, thoughtful son. I am so lucky and so grateful that you are sharing me with him now, and I am so excited to start our lives together. To Tracy and JD, you instantly made me feel at home. Thank you so much for that. I am so excited to have a sister. I asked my parents for one for many, many years, and they never delivered on one, but Jason did. So, and not just a sister, but two adorable nephews. So I am so excited to spend the years to come with you and your parents. And then speaking of parents, I cannot say how grateful I am to have such supporting and kind and just unwavering and unconditional love from my mother and father. I am so, so lucky to be your daughter. Thank you so much for hosting this amazing party and just for being there for my entire life, and then so also for welcoming Jason so warmly into our family as well. And then finally, to Jason. Thank you so much for being the most kind, supportive, thoughtful partner I could ever want. He sent me little gifts to the bridal suite at about every couple hours this morning, representing our past, our present, and our future, and I was so incredibly touched. I'm also so incredibly thankful that he went ahead with his surprise proposal. I don't know if you guys know this, but every holiday since we started dating, the first time just 3 months into our relationship, we go to these holiday lights in Nashville in this beautiful kind of forest and garden. So we had that outing planned again last December. Jason, kindly suggested that perhaps I should dress up, perhaps I should wear makeup, perhaps I should wear nice earrings. And I told him not to tell me what to wear or how to look. Like, I was gonna show up the way that I was gonna show up. And then we get there, and we are walking through the display, and then there's clearly signs that say the display continues over here. Jason is gesturing over to a gazebo in the distance, saying, hey, the display continues over there. And I was like, no, it doesn't. There's nothing over there. And he was like, no, I really think that actually the lights continue there. And I'm like, there are no lights over there. There's absolutely nothing there. And so finally he gives up. He just starts walking over. I am following him, loudly saying, we're going the wrong way the entire time. We get under the gazebo. He starts to fiddle in his jacket. And then for the first time in my life, I am speechless. Thank you so much for going ahead with that proposal, even after I was being very difficult all night. We can't say that he didn't know what he was getting into. And I cannot wait to spend the rest of our lives together. I love you too. Right. And then lastly, the bouquet. Right. So, as someone who has attended many, many weddings as a single lady, much to my parents' increasing despair, I have to say the bouquet toss was never my favorite part of the evening. So today, instead of tossing the bouquet, I would like to dedicate and gift this bouquet to the person who has put by far the most work and effort and just unwavering energy into making this event happen today. She is also my most steadfast source of support, my biggest cheerleader throughout my entire life. So I would like to gift this bouquet to my Amma, Tessie.
It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. I'm not one of those who can easily hide. I don't have much money, but boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we both could live. If I was a sculptor, but then again, no, or a man who makes potions in a traveling show. I know it's not much, but it's the best I can do. My gift is my song, and this one's for you. And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in the words how wonderful life is while you're in the world. I sat on the roof.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the lovely couple.
Well, a few of the verses.
Ladies and gentlemen, the father and daughter dance.
I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, lovers in the trees. Well, I guess you say, what can make me feel this way, my girl, my girl, my girl, talking about my girl, my girl.
Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.